Hi, this is Talk Fort Dodge with Todd and Jeremiah once again with the most famous photographer in Fort Dodge, Troy Schroeder. And we got some questions for Troy. So Jeremiah, take it from here.
Troy, how are you doing, sir?
I am good, kind sir. It's good to see you.
You too. So you are the proud owner of Memories in Focus, is that correct?
That is correct.
So you take all kinds of pictures and this and that.
Yes.
I know you take lots of senior pictures because I see that on your Facebook. Is that one of the things you like to do? And is that the biggest part of your business, or?
I mean, yeah, I think if you make up the pie, it's probably a good, probably close to 50% of our, what we bring in through the year is through senior pictures. So, it's probably the bulk of things.
Yeah. You're going to be an old man when my kids are all seniors.
Well, hopefully I'm still around and I'm relevant.
I'm sure you will be.
Fingers crossed.
Do you still do a lot of weddings? Because I know you did ours.
Yeah, I definitely, you like talk about being an old man, right? Like I feel like weddings beat me up a little bit. And so I've definitely cut back on them. I hope people still reach out to us. We still try to educate ourselves wedding wise, whether that's a seminar or online or in-person class or something. So, if I can shoot 4 or 5 a year, I'm pretty happy. But I'll leave the 20s and 30s and 40s of weddings for everybody else to shoot. So yeah.
Nice.
Good to know.
So one of your famous things that you do is Facebook Live with your seniors. Tell us how that got started and what are the biggest benefits of that?
Yeah, kind of funny. A buddy of mine, when Facebook Live first came out, I believe it was live first on Apple phones only, and I've always been an Android guy. And my buddy Travis Gugelman in Idaho did a Facebook Live, and I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So I wrote him a message like, you looked dumb. I can't believe you did this. Like, don't ever do it again. Like, part of it was to be funny with him. Part of it was like, oh my God, I would never do that. And then it became part of Android through Facebook. And so I don't remember really what led me to do the first one. I think it was just one of those times where it was go live. And so I was like, okay, sure. And people seemed to enjoy it, right? People commented and I heard from people. And so it kind of just, it grew into its own animal with our seniors. And, I think the way it benefits us is it for a couple reasons. I think one, it's something we do different than, maybe another photographer. I think each photographer, even if you're friends or whatever, each one of us, I think, tries to separate ourselves somewhat from each other. And so I think the Facebook Live thing is just kind of, my thing. And so I think, just the benefit of it being my thing. And then I think the seniors enjoy it. Sometimes they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But I think secretly they do. Sometimes they'll even bring it up. They're like, when am I doing my Facebook Live? And so it's become just kind of a way for me to maybe get them out of their bubble, have some fun with it, learn to laugh at yourself, and just have a good time with it. So that's what I would say.
So how many Facebook followers do you have?
Oof, I'm real close to the cap. Facebook caps people at 5,000 followers to a, just personal account. I'm always at 4,987 or something. And every once in a while I try to go through my friends list and clean up people that have duplicate accounts and things like that so that, I can try to bring in new people and whatnot. I feel Facebook, as much as I think all of us probably hate Facebook in some ways, I believe in being social. I love people. And so, I try to find the good in Facebook. And I think, be involved with people and being able to contact and Facebook Messenger and Facebook Live and just being able to see what everybody's doing in their lives. I think Facebook's an absolute wonderful tool when used appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appropriately is the right word there.
It's got its issues.
We should talk about politics. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Politics and religion.
Yeah.
Actually, I do a lot of Facebook Live with my houses that I have listed.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of fun doing it. Not a whole lot of people jump in while I'm doing it, but I get so much feedback later from the video. And
Correct.
You never know. I never rehearse it. I mean, I know the square footage, the bedrooms, and, the stuff on the house, but I don't rehearse on what room I'm going to go into. And you literally never know what you're going to say. And your head could hit a lamp and you can't find the light switch. But that's what makes it fun. And people are like, hey, this is real.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that's a part of it. You talk about like the benefit. I think people get to see you as who you really are, because you are kind of on the fly. I mean, I've cussed when I shouldn't have. I've asked questions I probably shouldn't have asked. But so definitely there's some some moments there that you're like, ugh, can't take that one back. I'm on Facebook Live. But people get to see you then as you, right? That you're not perfect. You're human. We all make mistakes, and we can all have fun with it. And so yeah, I enjoy it. And I do think people see a lot of benefit to watching that stuff on their own time.
What's your favorite Facebook Live story?
Ooh, man, I had to delete one time because some things were said. I believe that like let some cats out of the bag kind of deal. And I think
like
me and Lisa,
like
me and Lisa were like, oh, we probably can't leave this on there. And so I think it was short-lived. I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but I remember it happening. Yeah. Or like when I'm photographing a senior and, I want to be careful how I say this, like, because you guys know, I mean, I have a big heart for like the homeless and things and whatnot, but obviously Fort Dodge has some people downtown that are, interesting, or whatever you want to say. They have maybe some mental issues, and sometimes they'll just like walk in behind. And for me, it's not a big deal because my heart goes out to those people. But for a senior in high school, they're not used to it. I've been in Atlanta and Chicago and LA and Vegas where homelessness and like mental illness out on the street is just normal.
It's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think for the senior, it's always an awkward moment, which then I laugh because I think it's funny to see their faces because like somebody's in the background just chirping and they're just like, and I'm like, I'm nowhere dying laughing. So yeah, we have to have a good time with it.
That's awesome. So 2 more things I want to talk about. I'll do this one. Jeremiah, do the next. Is photo trends post-COVID. Are you going to see senior pictures with like masks on? Just, I would look better in my senior pictures with a mask.
Right.
And not a mullet, but
the good old days, right? The early 90s for you. Yeah.
Yep.
We see it now. There's people that do want to document, I think, what we're going through, especially as a senior. I think, sometimes like, hey, will you at least grab me a shot with my mask on? Or they have maybe a bunch of masks or something. Definitely there's some photographers out there that have been super creative. You talk about early in COVID, people did the porch sessions. I think, that was a photo trend that was along with COVID. I think as COVID gets over, you almost hope it's, this could be a horrible comparison, but we don't all talk about 9/11 every day, right? Like, 'cause that's behind us and we don't want to talk about it. And I think COVID will have kind of that same deal. I think, in the photo world, I think it's brought families maybe closer. There's been more time with people and so on. So I think the photo trends that come out of COVID will be, I think that family pictures will probably increase. I think you'll see an influx of families wanting their family picture, because I think you find out how important family is when, again, I'm no doctor here, but, quote unquote here, a flu, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, is wiping out people, right? And so it's scary, and I think that puts a lot of sense of urgency in families and how important your family is. So I think for photo trends, that's one you'll see that'll work out, from COVID.
Awesome. All right, Troy, over the years, I've always seen you out and about at charity events and even kind of like hosting things yourself. And I know you've helped people like in the political world to get elected. And when I see those kind of things, I just know that you're very active in the Fort Dodge community. What are some events that you've done and some things that you are proud of, and why do you do it?
Yeah, I think the why comes from really 2 things. My dad, I think, was very active in the community. My dad worked at Iowa Central. He was a vice president and taught there before that. Was there for 34 years and was very involved in like Rotary and bank boards and, not, it was not, I'm trying to think what it's called. It's the Growth Alliance now, but what was it before the Growth Alliance?
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber, yeah. So like my dad did the chamber, and so I grew up, I think, watching my dad do those things. He won the Catalyst Award, which I think was really neat for him. Oh, did I lose you guys for a second?
We still got audio.
Yeah, we had audio. You just paused.
Ooh,
You
do
look
I
like a
still have you
statue.
guys?
Yep.
Oh, keep going.
It's a little choppy, so I just want to
Sounds
make
good.
sure you guys hear me okay.
Yep, you're good.
Yep.
I forgot your dad won the Catalyst Award. That's pretty cool.
My
You're
internet.
back.
You're back. Yay, MediaCom.
Hey, all right, I got you guys back. All right, that's awesome. Do you want me just to continue?
Yep, just keep going.
Okay,
Yes, please.
Sorry.
We're used to
Yeah, so
break.
your viewers, sorry that my internet or something cut out on us there. So I think a lot of it came from watching my dad. The second part of that is just from me being adopted. I think there's no greater gift or charity really than being adopted. And so for me, I think that's been a driving force, behind me wanting to help people. As a teenager, my mom and dad had to put me in a mental facility. I was in a dangerous, spot in my life, and you saw kids. I mean, kids. I was a kid. I was 13, 14 years old, but you saw like 10 and 12-year-old kids coming in and off the street, and that really affected me. To see homelessness at such a young age, and hearing their stories and stuff, and so. I think those things really are a driving force between me wanting to be involved in anything that's for the good. We talk, I do the coat drive, or not coat drive, I do the coat rack, where we try to put coats out throughout the winter for people to come and grab. And that's been pretty successful. It comes with its ups and downs too, like anything does, but it's been pretty successful. We did a shoe drive with an organization with a buddy of mine out of Idaho, where we would drive the entire country and pick up shoes from photographers and churches and things like that. And then those shoes would go to like Haiti and Ecuador and things. And what they do is it's like a micro loan, where like a lady would get like a bag of 100 shoes of different, qualities. And they would teach her then how you sell these 100 shoes, it costs you this much. You retain that money to buy another, 100 shoes, and then this profit, and so on. And a lot of those people did that to be able to afford to get their kids back out of orphanages and things like that. And so, I really just think if there's a good cause behind it, Jeremiah, I know that you guys do a lot with, Almost Home. I think anything that is for the better is worth putting your time into. And so I try to do what I can, I guess.
That's awesome.
Very
You do
good
a lot
answer.
for the
Thank
community.
you.
I'm just
And
trying to
last
follow your
question.
guys' lead.
Yeah, we're trying to follow your lead. You do more than we do. You do more than I do. Last question is your part-time job, or maybe full-time job, I don't know,
Or maybe hobby.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, so I do kind of collect and breed ball pythons. They are the smaller of the python species. They only get about 3, 4, 5 foot typically, and they're not nearly as dangerous as reticulated pythons and Burmese pythons, where you hear things like that in the news about strangling a baby or something crazy. It's how do I want to say this? It's rewarding to me in a couple different ways. It gets me away from the photography world, or it gets me away from my everyday world. I get to feel somewhat smart because there's a lot of genetics involved. And so that's really the ball python game is creating the next morph, and it's all done through genetics. So it's interesting to kind of dive into that world. We travel around and do a couple shows in Chicago, a couple shows in Arlington, Texas, and a couple shows in Pomona, California. And, it's just it's cutting me out again for a second. It's a great industry, full of great people. And, again, it's a breakaway from my.
We're having a heck of a time with his
Yeah.
today.
Troy, do you have enough snakes to do a scene from Indiana Jones?
Oh, you broke up there.
Do you have enough snakes that we could do a scene from Indiana Jones?
Well, it looks like we might have to end the broadcast with Troy, but I think
That
you guys
darn
got
internet.
a really good idea of all that Troy does for the community and everything else he has going on. So, Troy, you'll be able to see the end of this later, but thank you for your time today, and we look forward to maybe another episode soon.
Thank you, Troy, and for all the service you do for Fort Dodge. So, thank you.